Morning. So today's video is going to be a little shorter on the water anyway. I saw in the comment section on a video I posted last night asking me to do a how to fillet a crappie. So that's what we're going to do. We got to first catch a crappie. I'm going to catch a few of them, go fillet them up, and might as well do a catch and cook out of this. So let's get to the lake. Well, we are out on the water here today, so I'm going to set up on some brush piles and try to get some of these crappie. I got a little bit of competition out in front of me, but other than that, I think it'll be good. So last time I was out here, they were hammering this little white paddle tail swim bait. So I got two of them rigged up right now. I might throw them both out. I haven't decided yet, but trying to get a couple of these 12, 13, 14-inch fish and get the heck out of here. Not that I don't like fishing, it's just I got so much stuff to do. So many videos to edit, not enough time. I am gonna put the second one down. More of a dead stick. Or I could jig both of them, I guess. And I got a fish on right away, right off the bat. Ooh, feels like a good one too. Because it is a good one. There we go. Right off the bat. Ooh. It's not really the one we want. I mean, this is definitely it's a 10 and a half, 10 and 3/4 inch fish, but I want those 12 inchers. That was a dead stick fish too. Rod was just laying on the bottom of the boat, or not the boat deck, not the bottom of the boat. I don't even know what I'm talking about this morning. Can't even talk. Oh. This whole warm front that came through, I mean, it was 71 degrees at 6:30 this morning. That's ridiculous. That's a mid-July type of weather, not late September. And the water temp shows, I mean, it's 71, 72 degrees right now. These crappie are pushed in real shallow. Real shallow. I mean, I'm casting. Oh no, that's a, well, that sucks. I got a snag on that rod. I'm casting into about 10 feet right now. So if you're shore fishing right now, this is probably the time to be out during this warm front. There's a fish. And what in the world? I don't think he's very, he might be okay. Okay. I mean, he's not the giant, but these are definitely good fish. Oh, let's see what he measures out here. Let's get these bass fishing rods out of the way. Let's see what he measures out to. I mean, he's about a 10-incher, but those are solid fish for this lake. I know for a fact I'm not going to get anything bigger than 14. I just don't think the class is there yet. Although I have to admit, on this lake, the whole stretch of shoreline on the east side of this lake where it drops off, well, this is where I've been usually finding them, drops off to like 15, 20 feet. The entire shoreline is just filled with crappie, but they're all, you know, second. Actually, I don't know how old they are. There's a fish. But they're all that 7, 8-inch fish, which means that in a few years, I'm hoping this lake is going to be loaded with some monsters. So that's the class I was talking about right there, about an 8.5-inch fish. For you guys that like to cast, these paddle tail baits, I think this is a Charlie Brewer paddle tail. It's a minnow, but it's got a paddle tail effect to it. Man, they love these things, especially, it's a hybrid jigging tactic. It's that vertical jig, but you're still casting out, and you're just kind of slowly pulling it back towards your boat. I'm actually pulling into the wind right now. There's not a whole lot of wind today, 3-4 miles an hour at most, and just slowly pulling it back, letting that paddle tail kind of swim, and then I'm gonna let it dive like a dying bait fish. But today would be a perfect day. Honestly, I should set up from shore just to do an on-shore video, but I don't have time to. There he is. Oh, uh-oh. Not again. I'm in the school of rock bass. That usually means the crappie moved. That's not good. Let's see if I can get this one out. There we go. Oh, took a while there. Ooh, it's a good one too. I think that's gonna be a keeper. He hammered it. He absolutely inhaled that bait. All right, looks like, oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Got another fish here. Ooh. There we go. Hey! Last little drift. All right, I'll keep him too. About a 9-incher, but I'll keep him too. These two guys are gonna be my fillets. Show you how to fillet. So the next time you'll see me, I'll be indoors, cutting these up, getting them ready for the frying pan. All right, so we are at the house, ready to cut up our crappie. So the first thing you're going to do to cut one of these bad boys up is flip it upside down. Then what we're going to do is we'll cut a diagonal right behind this pectoral fin here. You're going to cut it back towards the head. So it's going to angle back here because there's a lot of meat up in this part. It's nice and tasty. So first going to make that cut. And you cut down until you hear it pop. You don't want to cut all the way through the fish. So there's my cut. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to tip your knife and run it down the spine of the fish, but you're going to stay on this side of the spine. So here's the crappie spine right here. I'm going to stay on this side of it. I'm just going to run it down until I feel the rib cage. And then I'm going to stop and just keep moving my knife down the fish. Until you will eventually be able to push the knife through the entire fish. And it's going to start to poke out the other side, right there. At that point, you're just going to cut towards the tail and keep the knife towards the middle of the fish's body, down towards the spine, and you're going to cut down towards the tail, but you're not going to cut the tail off. Some people cut the tail off. I do not, for one specific reason, because it makes it easier to actually fillet the meat off the skin. So now that we have our back cut, I'm going to take the fillet knife and actually doing some filleting. I'm just going to run the tip down through some meat to the rib cage. I'm going to slowly peel that meat back, and you're going to run it right on top of the rib cage. You don't want to cut any bones, because that's how you get bones in the meat. And this part of the rib cage is the tricky part, because if you don't have a big enough fish, there's not going to be a whole lot of meat there. So you're just going to be filleting between the skin of the crappie and the actual bone. Luckily, I think this one has enough meat where I can actually, yep, I'm actually going to be able to fillet it with a little bit of meat. And you're just going to keep filleting all the way down to the belly of the fish. I know I'm leaving a little bit of meat throughout here, but I wanted to be careful not to get any bones. Okay, now I'm to the belly of the fish. Now, we made a slit on the back side of this fish when we pushed our knife. As we were cutting right through here, we pushed our knife all the way through like this, like that. I like to take it and push it back through that same hole and run the knife down the belly back towards the head to cut off my fillet. Just like that. Then, this is why we leave it, or I leave it attached. It's a lot easier to actually fillet the meat from the skin here. You're gonna flip that skin over. You're gonna take your knife, you're gonna make a small incision down to the skin. Do not cut the skin. And then you're gonna slowly work the knife, pushing the blade. You're gonna have the blade kind of angled down, and you're gonna push the blade. It should have a little bit of bend. So you're gonna have, here's a blade flat, and angle it down a little bit, and I'm gonna bend it. It should have a little bit of arc as I'm cutting. So here we go. Now I've gotten down to where I'm between the skin and the meat, and I'm just going to keep downward pressure, a little downward angle of the knife, not straight down, just, I don't know, 20 degrees or so of angle, and you're going to keep that knife bent. It's going to have some bend to it. It's actually going to have bend to it as you're cutting through it. And you're just going to slowly slide your knife back and forth between the meat and the skin, and that knife, hopefully you got a sharp enough knife, it'll just glide right between the skin and the meat will fillet right off that little section of skin, just like that. And there's our one side of our fillet right there. So I'll throw that right here for now, and then we'll flip this thing over and do the other side. Same thing. Fish is upside down, your spines are facing towards you. You're going to lift up this little pectoral fin here. You're going to take your knife at an angle back towards the head, and you're going to make that cut. Now it might not pop because you've already popped the air bladder in the fish. Just like that. And then I'm going to run my knife down the spine on this side again, on the same side that you just cut, just on the inside of that spine. I'm going to poke all the way down until I feel the rib cage, and I'm going to keep running my knife until I can't feel the rib cage anymore. And then I'm going to run it through the fish, and I'm going to poke it out on the side of this bottom fin here. And then I'm going to run it towards the tail. I'm going to leave a little bit of skin left on that tail because I'm going to flip it. So then I'm going to go back. I'm going to do a little bit of filleting here. Sorry about the lighting. You're going to fillet right down to that rib cage. Left a little bit of meat there. Oops. I'm just going to take the tip of your knife and keep filleting. Now this side of the fish, you notice that it didn't have a whole lot of meat on this side, so I had to actually fillet the skin right from the bone right there. So I'm just going to keep taking the tip of my knife and filleting it right down that skin, right down the skin and the bones there. I'm filleting from the head to the back of the fish. I guess it really doesn't matter, but that's just how I've always done it. Eventually here, I'm going to cut all the way down to the belly. And you can see there's a hole right here. That's where we put the knife through. I'm going to take the knife, I'm going to put it through that hole. I'm going to cut up towards the head of the fish. And I'm going to cut off this piece of skin right here. I'm going to flip that fillet over like that. I'm going to do the same thing. Now I'm cutting down, making a small incision, but don't cut the skin. You just want to cut through the meat just a little bit. Then you're slowly angle your knife. You're going to flatten your knife a little bit and make sure it has some bend. You're really going to want to put some bend on that knife. Let's see if I can get it on hammer here. Yeah, I'm gonna put some bend on that knife. And you're gonna slowly go back and forth, a little bit of bend, a little downward action, downward angle. Work that knife all the way through so you cut the full section of meat off. And just like that, we got our nice slab of meat ready for the frying pan. So, next step will be throw these on the frying pan. Alright, so now that we have our nice little fillets cut up, I just got back from work. These were actually frozen, so I don't feel like doing too much. I know I said I was going to throw it in the frying pan, but I'm going to take the throw them in oil method. So I'm going to turn this on too high and let that oil heat up. Yep. Wow, that looks crazy. Good GoPro. It's like a purple. Huh. All right. So we're going to let that oil heat up. I have a Ziploc bag that's leaking. What did I throw in here? Just some basic shore lunch Cajun style. And throw these in there. I know normally you can mix it. In like egg batter. Helps the flour stuff stick better, but I like a thin batter on it. Crispy but thin. So. So there we go. Big old pile of fresh crappie. I'm gonna throw them on these and a little ranch on there. And that's gonna be the dinner. This wasn't gonna be a really catch and cook. It was more the fillet of crappie, or how to fillet a crappie. That's what the video was. So this weekend I'm gonna do a catch and cook bluegill, and I'm gonna do a little bit better recipe, I think. I gotta look some up. Appreciate you watching. If you like these videos, smash that thumbs up. End of the video, see my face holding the crappie, and click that to subscribe, and then below the video there's a subscribe button. We'll see you next time.